Sports.
Taking it to the bank. Here we are, Dan Ingham, First National Bank of Central Texas.
Heck yeah.
He's in here this afternoon, and if you're just listening to the podcast version of this, you can't see. He's got his Baylor shirt on, his Baylor golf shirt.
That's right.
That's because he's busy today.
I'm full homer mode right here, but I'm proud to say I love Baylor too, even though I didn't go to Baylor. But yeah, so you know this, but I handle play-by-play for Baylor softball, and we've got a big dinner tonight, meet the team dinner, raising a little money for the team as well. So I'm helping MC that. So I'm ready. That'll be happening tonight. Hopefully it won't be too hot out there.
How much are you looking forward to this softball season? I'm guessing it starts in February.
Yeah, February, a lot. A new look Big 12 will be really interesting. Oklahoma State obviously will be the favorite, I think, with the teams they've had in the past, but no Texas, no OU, but then you gain Arizona, a historical program. Utah has been good the last couple of years, went to the World Series, in fact, Arizona State. So it's going to be a really interesting league this year. And I just talked to one of the coaches today, and they're very optimistic about this team, a team that almost went to the World Series last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's also interesting, like with you and your wife Julie. Like, have you talked about the travel? Like, because that's a much different. You're talking about the short trip to Oklahoma or the bus ride to Austin, and we're going all over the country.
So you know this, but John Morris is about as good a guy as you're ever going to meet. A couple of years ago, I came to him and said, "Listen, I can't travel to all the games. Just with my day job at the bank, I need to kind of hold back." And so he has been awesome. So we have some folks that have kind of filled in for me on the road. Somehow I never make the Ames, Iowa road trip, but so I kind of set it up where I can maybe do some of the road trips like that I can drive pretty easy. And then the postseason, because you never, in theory, I hope I'm busy for about a month in the postseason. So I have to kind of hold back for that. So I just don't travel like I used to with softball. And that's okay, because we've had some very capable people fill in for me. It's
been great. I've gotten a chance to call some softball too. I never realized how much I would fall in love with the game. And the players and the superstar coaches. And I just want to ask you about this quick, your thoughts on Oklahoma and Texas being out of, you got Patty Gasso, Mike White. Those are two like huge coaching names.
Yeah.
And now they're out of there with
one of them's really nice.
Yeah.
Sorry. Right.
And is he Australian?
I didn't say which one.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you think will happen to the Big 12 as far as, I want to hear first the sizzle of having Oklahoma and Texas gone, and then second, as far as how that affects the rest of the teams and their ability to become ranked nationally and get seated high.
If they had left and those Pac-12 teams had not come in, I think it'd be very problematic for the league. Well, it would certainly change the way people like Glenn Moore and Kenny Gajewski at Oklahoma State have to schedule. They would have to go really back heavy, like schedule the heck out of the first of that season, because they wouldn't get the kind of help they need RPI wise, schedule wise, if they didn't have Utah, Arizona State coming in. With those teams coming in, no, they're not as good as Oklahoma and Texas, but then you still have a top 3 conference in America in terms of softball. So you can, if you win a bunch of games in conference, you're going to do well enough RPI. Now, Glenn Moore's still going to schedule tough teams, but that's the big thing right there, is the addition of those Pac-12 teams that came in allowed those coaches to not have to just schedule like crazy and maybe hurt your team in February and March before the season starts.
Is Aaliyah Benford one of the best players you've seen at Baylor in a long time?
Certainly versatile, ton of talent. I was just looking over some stats. I think she led the Big 12 in strikeouts last year. And then, in the postseason hit some big home runs. In fact, I think she had a grand slam in that Louisiana regional. So, in terms of talent, she's up there. And one thing I've seen a lot of players do is, they've had good careers, and then some players, it clicks that lineup last year and then they become elite. She has the ability to be elite. I'll be curious to see if she takes that next step from like all Big 12 player to like all American level. Good.
Best Baylor softball player you've ever covered?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. I hate to be a prisoner of the moment, but if she has another good year, I think Shaylin Govan will be up there.
Oh, yes.
I mean, like,
yeah,
she's that good. Because, I mean, she's
did she lead the country in batting average, or
it was up there, or on base percentage?
Yeah,
I mean, her on base percentage was like around 600.
Yeah,
which is in a way you kind of almost bad, because I think Glenn would tell you he'd almost rather her strike out occasionally and get some pitches to swing at, and but she doesn't strike out a lot. But because with an on base percentage like that means teams are walking her a lot. But she gets on base, and she's a leader too. Like, she's the best, most talented, and the hardest worker.
Yeah.
like he would tell me like before a game, hey, I think this is what I need to do. And he'd be like, great, you've studied the film, you do it. I trust you. So yeah.
All right, well, that's pretty cool. I enjoy your softball background because being lucky enough, I remember you were my first call when I got to do some softball.
That. It's fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Glenn and his career are great folks too. Yeah.
All right, not a lot of fun for the folks in Stillwater. That was a bummer of a loss last week. Ollie Gordon played. It was exciting to see him play a huge, 50-yard run early in the game.
Yeah, ran for. it was his best game of the year. Yeah, because he had a running quarterback for until he broke his collarbone.
Yeah,
that was the difference. And he ran well and ran hard, but when the defense has to there's a threat that the quarterback can run, which the backup Rangel could do.
And they were running the option, and the BYU defenders were all flying up the field. It was like your guys were finally running in space this year. It was fun to watch.
It was. And, I think we mentioned last week, I said to somebody, what do you want OSU to do this? Well, at least have a win that makes you feel good, because they're not going to win a Big 12 title this year. And that stinks, but at least try and win, and beating a good BYU team on the road would have been pretty sweet. And now it's lost again. Not 4 straight. That's rough.
So what do you see Baylor as a 7-point favorite in this game? It started at 4, and I guess Rangel ruled out. So now,
he's out for the year.
Yeah. And so is Bowman going to be the starter?
They don't have a choice.
So the Flores kid,
because Flores is out for the season.
Yeah. Okay.
They've got a true freshman, which and the problem I heard Mike Gunny say the problem is up until last week he was just running scout teams, so he hadn't even. His job was to they hold up the clip where you see it, and run this play, the defensive guy run this play, and he's just now getting reps with the the big boys, and I'm sure he's talented. Every freshman's talented, but who knows? So Bowman, he's the man.
Dude, some of the funniest. So when I was at Richmond, I didn't play, but they kept me around, and I would have to hold up that board.
So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
It would be here's a play we're going to run. And all my buddies are getting annihilated, you know, and it was kind of awkward.
Hey, that first team all Big 12 player, go block him real quick.
Yeah.
Thanks, appreciate it. Walk on freshman from
Oh my gosh, those guys, they don't ever get their just due.
Yeah.
So what do you foresee happening this weekend though? Baylor again, like I said, the 7-point favorite, and all of a sudden things are shaping up for the Bears.
Isn't it funny how you look at the schedule now? You're like, is there a game they can't win on the schedule?
I think they could win all 5, dude.
Yeah,
I really do. Now, 100%. Of course, it's every game is, how about this? You and I sat here a little while ago and we were talking, we looked at their schedule and you said, I can't see a game in the next 3 or 4 where there won't be underdogs.
Yeah.
Now it's the opposite.
Isn't that wild? But here's the deal. It is a week-to-week league. Every team in the Big 12 is going to have a week where they look good.
Yeah.
That's just the reality, except for Oklahoma State apparently. But is Baylor, I won't think, all right, they've got it turned around until they do it again this week. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I kind of show me a little bit. They went to, that's a great win. It really was. They beat a decent team on the road and really owned everything about that game. Do it again this week. And then I'm thinking, it feels pretty good about this team right now. And I think they can. I think the 2 teams are probably pretty even in talent. Maybe Baylor at this point because of all the injuries. Yeah. Oklahoma State has its 3 best defenders out too. Yeah. And so, And that was the last play of the game where BYU scored. It was like a walk-on safety that missed the tackle. You know what I mean? And so you're just, I'd be surprised if Oklahoma State comes down here and win. Though interesting, I was looking at OSU's won the last 2 times in Waco. So it's been 6 years since Baylor's won here in Waco against OSU, but I'm not sure that has any factor on this game.
Would be honestly, it would be a huge kick in the cojones if Baylor loses.
See, that's it, and that goes back to you did it once, now do it again. Yeah. If you lose it, it's kind of like you win this, and all of a sudden, all right, we got a great chance to go to a bowl game. We're feeling good about, especially with the recruiting class coming in. So
All right, let's get to your picks.
All right.
Let's go to the bank. Dan Ingham, First National Bank of Central Texas.
All right, first one, I'm going to go Kansas State, the Sunflower State Showdown against Kansas. They are a 10-point favorite. I would give the points. The last 10 years, Kansas State's average margin of victory over University of Kansas, 23 points. They own that series in the same way Kansas, as their fans, will own that series in basketball in a serious way.
It's to your point, doing that Inside the 12 show, I guess they've won 15 straight. Kansas State has, and 12 of the 15 have been by more than 10 points.
There you go.
So
now, to be fair, Kansas has had some really bad teams during that run, and we feel like they're minus this year. They've gotten a little better. But I like K-State giving the 10 right there.
All right.
NFL, this is maybe interesting. Raiders getting 10 points against the Chiefs. Kansas City's luck runs out in Las Vegas. They've won 4 of their 6 wins or 1-score games. They've kind of done it with their defense, which is elite, by the way, but their luck runs out. You can't play this many close games and just win them all when you're playing NFL teams, even though the Raiders aren't very good. The Raiders getting double-digit points. I like the Raiders this weekend.
Could the Raiders win?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like weird things happen like that in the NFL because the difference between team number 1 and team 32 is a lot different than what you see at like the best and worst college teams. Savannah State could never beat Alabama in football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the Raiders can beat.
Did you see last night, Kennesaw State, or are they just Kennesaw now, Cam? Kennesaw State, they beat Liberty last night. Liberty's was 6-0 or 5-0.
How does that happen?
And Kennesaw State was 0-6.
Okay.
And they had just made the jump
to
BCS. I was like, wow, that's good for them.
I didn't watch any football. I saw Sam Houston win and they're bowl eligible. How cool is that?
So cool.
I know. I mean, if you've I remember going to games and they haven't redone their stadium. Have you been to the Sam Houston at all?
No.
It looks like a 1AA stadium right now, but I think they're upgrading it.
Yeah. But it's cool. Like you said, and anything can happen on any night.
Yeah.
So are those your 2 picks?
Raiders
Okay.
getting points, Kansas State giving points.
All right, state of the Cowboys for you right now.
It's all about Dak. I mean, and we talk about it. I mean, I feel like I've gone back and forth on this, but at this point, all right, Dak, you've had the week off. This team
got engaged.
This team has a lot of flaws. You've got to carry him into some wins.
Yeah.
I think he's has 6 interceptions already this year. And with a team that's had a pretty good passing offense, Dak's got to find a way to get him a win.
This is the jerk in me. Like I just mentioned, he got engaged. Like I probably would have held off. Like your team's doing terrible.
So, what do you
know?
Like any rational person says that's a great thing, dude. Just got engaged, but maybe not share it on social media.
I know, yeah.
Maybe like if you go and win at the 49ers on Sunday, how about hey, look what happened, guys? Because you're going to get a lot more of that, a boy, that a baby Dak. I knew he could do it.
All we want to think about is him in the film room, over the course of the bye. But now he's playing golf and he's getting engaged.
In any normal world, that's like an awesome thing.
Yes.
I mean, it's not like when Tony Romo, do you remember when he went to Cabo with Jessica Simpson?
Oh, yeah.
The bye week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing like that.
And Mosley was telling us yesterday that I guess what's her name? Carrie Underwood.
Oh, yeah.
Was down on the field talking to Romo before a game when they were dating, and Parcells was like out of his mind.
I bet.
Yeah,
there were a lot of I remember thinking about it I heard a joke. I mean, I heard like a local radio guy saying, that Jesus take the wheel when Gary when he was playing poorly. And, it was rough.
How about last question for you? Then I'll let you go. Dak and Tony Romo. Who are you taking in one game?
Right now, I'd still take Tony Romo.
Yeah,
and I'm really I liked Tony Romo a lot, and I like Dak too. But I'm not sure the numbers necessarily bear that out. But I mean, I think I would take Tony Romo. I think.
Yeah. All right, Dan Ingham.
Yeah.
Take it to the bank, baby.
Boom.
First National Bank of Central Texas. Thanks for coming by, brother.
You bet. Anytime.
All right, the Pete Sousa Show, powered by the Rogue Media Network. Back after this.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.